All right, we are live. This is our weekend AMA. So for those of you who are a little bit new, what I like to do every week is I like to start off with a topic as people are funneling in here, and I like to, from there, go ahead and answer some questions. I know a lot of us, when we're getting started in our own software careers, we're looking for some mentorship. We're looking for some guidance, and that's what these weekend AMAs every Saturday are about. So today, I'm going to talk about a little bit about personal branding as a developer, as a software engineer, as a programmer, whatever you want to call it. Really, as an individual, though, because that's what's most important when it comes to personal branding is the personal aspect, right? Whatever it is that you're passionate about in life. If you're in the waffle industry, how you need to do some personal branding to be the best waffle guy, right? And it sounds kind of funny when you put it up, say it like that, but it is true. Personal branding is very important. And part of the reason I chose this topic was if you've noticed, it doesn't say Coding Tutorials 360 anymore. Why is that for my channel name? Well, it's still going to be YouTube/Coding Tutorials 360 because that's the route to get to the page, but it says Dylan Israel. It's really just a personal branding aspect. And in reality, the channel name wasn't really relevant to what I was doing anymore, right? So when I first started my channel, I was learning to be a developer, and then I was doing, Code Academy tutorials, free code camp tutorials, and I still do those things outside of the channel, but most of my videos now are infotainment related. We are talking about things. We are talking about software related things, sharing my opinion. And I personally wanted to promote myself, not from a narcissistic standpoint, like everybody has to scream my name from the top of the hackathon sort of thing, but more so just promote me as a developer, add a little bit more professionalism to it. Nothing besides that is going to change with the channel, but I think that was the direction that I'm trying to go with it, and I think it was a good decision. But it all comes down to the personal branding aspect, which is very important as you build your brand as a developer, right? And that could be in any facet. Doesn't have to be YouTube, doesn't have to be Facebook, but you go about your own way. What you're doing is you're showing that you are passionate, that you are an expert, or attempting to be an expert, which is almost as good, but that you're growing and maturing. You're showing potential employers and current employers that the man that or woman that you were last year is going to be half of what you will be a year from now, right? And so as you're building your personal brand, you really want it to be so that when you go and they Google search your name in a resume, things pop up that is related to you to show that you're someone active and integrated. Thank you. I had a little brain fart. Integrated with your profession, with your field, and that you are trying to become part of the field. And that's really where I think your personal branding comes from. And it could be, there's a bunch of ways to achieve this, but I do want to throw it out there for some of you to think about it, because most of us just don't want to be developers. We want to be the best developers. There's developers, and money is the easiest thing because it's quantifiable. Everything's not about money, don't get me wrong, but money is something. And when you're comparing good, bad, it's typically subjective. But at the very least, we can compare salaries, higher being better than lower most of the time. And so I tend to assume that most of you want to have a better salary. I tend to assume that most people want to make more money so they can take care of their parents as they get older, so they can take care of their kids as they grow up, so they can just reward themselves for their hard work. And part of that is, and part of building a personal brand is very exciting. It's something that is something that you carry with you. So I want it to be something that you guys are thinking about actively about how to pursue it. So that's sort of my 2 cents about why I changed the channel name. Not a big deal. I haven't even changed all the logos. I do have a new hot intro. So on Monday's video, check it out. I think it's fire. I really do like it. Engineer Truth didn't like it, but I liked it. So I was getting it worked on while we were out to breakfast when he was down visiting, and he's like, I don't know, not my taste. So I was like, well, it's my taste. I like it, so it's staying, right? So that's my 2 cents. Just want to get you thinking about how you're building your personal brand and what it even is. And you're like, personal brand? What am I? What am I? A candy bar? You need to be the candy bar of your space, right? So vlogs coming soon. Maybe. I don't know. See, I don't know, man. Vlogs are such part of the reasons that I like to talk about the topics that I do is it's a efficient manner to deliver a video, right? I can talk about something that I've been thinking about all week and sort of in the back of my mind, and I can have a video out with 4 hours of time in theory, right? Where I'm what's up, baby?
Missy wants to know if she can buy everything for 60. Her original, the fan is 15, so it would make her bill 75.
No. Okay. So sorry, we're cleaning up some of the space in the house, and we have stuff listed on like Craigslist and Let Go. And April's just asking me if I can sell it cheaper because someone's trying to negotiate. But your boy does not negotiate. He does not give into Craigslist terrorism. Okay. But anyhow, I lost my train of thought on that. But I think you guys get the point. So about other. Oh yeah. So it takes about maybe 3 hours for me to fully get a video out. So. But that's not counting any time I do coding tutorials, which is rare lately. But speaking of tutorials, I just finished recording the 3rd course, Angular 360 Part 2, the Top 100 Cryptos project. I'm so excited about that. It came out so good. I think it's going to be a really good one. If you're interested in Angular, if you're curious what you're building, you're basically building coinmarketcap.com, a version of it. And so it uses services, it uses pipes, it uses APIs, does routing. We really kicked it up a notch in this one. So it's going to be an exciting project for you guys. I'll have it out by next week. I have to get it approved and all that. But with that being said, let's open up the floor, if you will. 2 questions. Not like 2 questions, but like 2 questions. I got 2 questions now. So vlogs. I will say yes and no. Part of the issue with vlogs is time commitment. I'm okay if I go and do things. Right now, I'm stuck in the house all the time. I would like to go to more meetups. I'm going to one on Friday to do some Ethereum contracting, blockchain, hello world sort of projects. And that's about a 4-hour meetup. So I would like to maybe have a project. I'll record maybe a vlog of what I can do there. And I'm going with some coworkers, so I have to see. But maybe I can start doing that when I go out. The issue is I spent all my time at home doing this awful degree program I'm in. And so it takes so much time to do vlogs. We'll see. It is something. And oftentimes, I don't know that they do very well. So that it may not be like rewarding, but I'll consider it. It's not out of the realm of possibility. If I go and do anything cool, like I went to a blockchain meetup maybe a month and a half ago, and I learned a ton, but I'm not quite sure how it would make an interesting blog unless I just sort of asked the instructors, hey, can I just set up a camera and record all of this and put it on my YouTube channel? If that's something you guys think would be interesting, I might do it. What's the best place to learn UX design? Do you think the future is good for UX designers? I think the future is good for UI and UX, just because everything needs to be client facing, right? So there's always going to be a demand to have things that are appealing to clients so that they use their products. Where to get those skills, I honestly couldn't tell you. I'm so bad at design. that, I mean, I can build things after someone designs them, but if someone wants me to be like, yo, we need Dylan, you're gonna design our home page, baby, from the ground up. What do you got? I got Bootstrap, I got Angular material. That's about all you're getting out of me because I'm not a designer by nature. And it is something that I've thought about. How can I improve myself as a developer? There's two main areas that I would like to improve if everything worked out, right? And one is DevOps. I'd like to be more familiar with DevOps, deploying applications, automation, all that sort of stuff that goes along with DevOps. Not just like right now, I just consume the tools that are built into DevOps, and that's fine. That works as a developer. But one area that I could definitely improve on is DevOps. And some ways that I might go about that is I might go and get an AWS certification when I'm done with my degree program. Capture that. Another is design. Being much better at CSS. Going and understand design principles and things like that. And honestly, I have an idea how to get started with DevOps. I don't really have an idea of where the best resources are for that. And I'm not talking about like Udemy courses. I'm talking about how do I actually go and become a UX designer? What is the learning process for that? You know, if you were to ask me how to become a front-end developer, I could tell you that. If you were to ask me how to become a UX UI designer, I couldn't tell you. And that's a problem. But that is something that I would like to fix. Every year I'm trying to, and this should be the same mentality you have as you're a developer. Is every year you should try to be better than you were before, and you should have a plan how to do it. The year prior, I have a whole video talking about what I learned in my first year as a developer, and I talk in detail about it. But in that year, I got familiar with Karma, Jasmine, better familiar with Git, better familiar with Angular, more in detail in JavaScript, PHP, Cake PHP. I started playing around with Node, Express, MongoDB, Mongoose. That's all that comes to mind right now. But in that year, that's a lot of technologies for you to be playing with on a day-to-day basis, and got much more familiar. So this year, my goal is to do a degree program, finish my degree, learn that. Next year, I'm either going to dive into DevOps as a learning curve. There's three directions. DevOps, UX UI, or Ethereum contracting with Solidity, and just kind of get familiar with the blockchain world a little bit. So those are the three directions. So in 2019, that will be how I will be progressing as a developer, as a channel, as a person, as a personal brand. So what do you think about the idea of working remote as an Angular developer? I think it'd be fine. I have always suggested against working remote as you start your career. It's also extremely hard getting started in that remote role. I think it's better to get some experience and go from there. But I mean, I have no problem with that. I will say that now this varies, but I will say by and large, I think most remote roles are expecting full stack functionality from a developer. So good job, Dylan. I'm a huge fan, but for curiosity, why do you have the Steam? That's the essential oil diffuser. Any backend tutorials coming out soon for Node.js and TypeScript? Not really any out there. I actually want to do some TypeScript tutorials. The game plan was to just release it free on Udemy to get students. So I was thinking about doing like a 1-hour TypeScript tutorial to get people up to date on what it is, how it works, all that sort of stuff. It is probably my favorite thing in a while with coding. It just makes writing JavaScript a little bit easier. It makes it so much easier to work with classes. Yeah, I'm just a fan of TypeScript, and I'm a big fan of um, instantiating types. Like, granted, they aren't enforced, but it makes it much more easy. It makes it easier to develop when you know what the classes and interfaces and what your methods are and all that sort of stuff. And it's something that I'm a big fan of. And I think I could do a 1 hour everything you need to know about TypeScript. TypeScript isn't a very it's not a very sorry, I'm looking for it's not a very complex concept because it just takes things in JavaScript and then adds additional things, just a super set of JavaScript. And what is that super part is really all you have to cover. So what diffuser do you have? This is the one right here. This is the Mac Daddy. Now, heads up, you're thinking, damn, Dylan, that looks good. Wait, be prepared to be impressed. Can you guys see that? Can you I don't know if you can see it, but it's supposed to change colors. Yeah, see how it's changing to green? You can barely see it. Let me turn off that. And blue. I know, you're impressed. But also, don't get your hopes up because they sold out of this particular model. So, sorry if you're looking to buy it. I was actually looking to buy a second one, and they're all out. Everyone bought it up, man. Is Lynda a good place to start? I have no problem with Lynda. I think you can do just as well in Udemy. You just got to buy the right courses. Am I still learning C# at my current work? I am indeed. They gave me a full week to study. Bless their souls. So my to elaborate on the C# for work is my coworkers came to me, my project manager and BA had said, Dylan, why can't you build this stuff? I said, well, that's a back end ticket. I do front end. Now, I can learn C# and .NET. Never did any C# and .NET, but I've done full stack at my last role in PHP and MySQL, and in my current projects, whenever I work, I work with databases with MongoDB and Node and Express. So they gave me about a week to learn. And granted, I'm going to be pairing up. I'm not an expert by any means, but I did 3 C# courses, about 20 hours of content on Udemy, knocked them out, got exposed to a lot, and started pairing with a coworker of mine, doing some TDD, writing a service of his. Yeah, so I would say I need to do a .NET course in general, but I feel pretty good to get going. I'm probably going to need my handheld a little bit, not because I think any of the concepts are beyond the realm of complexity, but a lot of it is, okay, well, how do I do this shit in C#? It's like I need to connect to the database. How do I connect to the database? I need to query the database. How do I query the database? And so you just slowly get into the groove of, you have to learn that 80% of stuff, or that 20% of stuff you use 80% of the time, right? But yeah, they gave me about a week. I feel pretty good, and I'm diving in. Yeah, I did Mosh's 3 courses. He had us a beginner, intermediate, and advanced. Okay, so I feel I've learned enough front end to be taken seriously. Would you suggest I learn about WebSockets and server-side rendering type things, or dive into the backend with Node, etc.? I mean, have you got a job in front end? Because I guess that would be my thing is, you feel like you've learned, but do employers feel like you've learned enough to be good and to be taken seriously? It's not about how you feel. It's about how the employers feel at the end of the day. Yeah, we use .NET Core. So what do you like better? Being able to concentrate on just one area, such as front end at your job, being able to do it all like at your last one? This is something I don't know the answer to. I could tell you that if I was doing full stack JavaScript, I would love to do it all. All of it, baby. All of it. all of it, every single day of the week. Full stack JavaScript is my shit. It's like you never left the front end. I love it, right? But one issue that I have is that I feel that front end development is much faster than the back end devs. It could just be that I'm fucking coding god. No. But I am always waiting on services to be built for my front end applications, and so I've had so many issues where you agree on a contract. One of my coworkers is dealing with this as a front end dev, that I have to he's rebuilding an application, not from the ground up, but he's restructuring a ton of it because the services that we said, hey, this is the data model we're going to be getting. That wasn't what was delivered. And now he has to go and reorganize his own app, change everything. And that's a huge problem. So one thing that I've done is it happened to me one time. I said, never again. So I will not build an application until the services are done, or in a point where they're in test, right? Meaning that their code has been PR'd, is now in the testing environment or the dev environment, and I can use it and consume it. Because at that point, the data structure is not going to radically change once it's gone. It's already been approved, and that saves me a lot of headache, and it also saves me time and saves the company time. And sometimes you have to push back as a developer and say, yo, I know you want this out tomorrow, and you have this fantasy idea that I'm going to build this, they're going to build that. In a perfect world, that would work out. But we are in a perfect world. We are in a world where contracts are not held in terms of the data structure to be the absolute truth, if you will. And you have these issues where now you're going back and you're spending more time on your original application, and you're having to refresh your mind as to what it was. Applications are very large, very, very large. Just on the front end, you have, controllers, you have the models of views, you have interfaces, data sets, you have services, you have pipes. It starts growing and growing. And when you're going to have to change all that, you're going to then make mistakes. And you're like, well, everything's unit tested. No. Everything's unit tested based off what you thought was going to happen. Are some of the unit tests going to help? Yeah. So I personally, that is my only frustration. It's not a big one, but that is why I kind of lean towards doing it all, because at least then I know, because the back end is never waiting on the front end. It's the back end's client is the front end, right? And the front end's client is the actual client. And so you have to, when you think about it that way, what's really happening is if you just wait for a second and then start once they have the bulk of the work done and it's been approved one time, changes are going to happen. Nothing's going to be perfect, but you're not going to have to rewrite your application. You're not going to have to then be familiar with it, because in my case, I typically am done with a rough working version before the services. So it depends on every company, but that's one thing is I would like to do it all, but I enjoy actually diving into the front end. I enjoy sort of because I'm a JavaScript developer, and that's where it's all about, right? I enjoy that. Let's connect everything. Let's get it going. How can we make it better? I think it's a lot of fun. And I think it's better to be specialized long term. What do you think about combining data analysis / science and web development? Almost done with my master's with GIS and remote systems. Just started web dev on free code camp. Already using Python. All right, I think it's fine. I mean, all these things can be combined to be an effective portfolio and career. We'll be getting the advanced mode with both courses. I would say you could skip the advanced. I didn't really feel like the advanced gave me much value. Not to say that it's a bad course, but I would say that you could probably skip it if you wanted to. Oh, you do have a job. All right. I do. Okay, so you felt you've learned enough to be taken seriously. All right, if you got a job, then you've learned enough. But What that's just WebSocket server-side rendering. If you want to be full stack, yeah, there's nothing wrong with being full stack. And honestly, I think everyone should go full stack in the start of their career because it's going to expose you to a lot of concepts. And if you're a front-end developer and you don't really know how the back-end works, you're not going to be able to give intricate feedback. You're not going to be a valued member of the team if you just don't understand how any of the application works. So it's always good to have a rough working understanding of architecture, of design, of DevOps, of front end, of back end, because you're able to contribute. And it doesn't mean like, oh, well, this guy's a back end developer, he knows everything. Sometimes back end and front end, they goof in their specialties, and it always helps to have someone as an outside view. But to have a view, you have to understand the basics. So I would definitely encourage you to dive into the back end, whatever it is, and just sort of start learning about, connecting routes and manipulating data and everything else that goes along with it. So I think that's an excellent idea. Lonzo likes alone. No one is going to be your mentor. Anyone who said, hey, anyone here want to be my mentor has never, ever got a mentor. You need the way that you get mentors is very simple. You provide value for other people. How do you provide value? Go to Meetup, start meeting people, start helping other people out in various little things, and gain merit. We don't live in this sort of medieval time where people are taking on apprenticeships. That just doesn't really work. Where like, Dylan now has Dylan Jr. mentor. That doesn't exist. But what you can do are make relationships where people want to help out, their friends and their family and things like that. But going into a chat on YouTube with 40 other people and say, hey, who wants to be the mentor? You'll notice that no one spoke up, right? Just crickets. Yeah, we all have to strive to be that coding god. What kind of project is suitable for Express.js? Anything with routing? Create some sort of CRUD application with a front end display. That would be my advice. But I like, for instance, you want mentorship. I give one-on-one mentoring sessions, but they're not free because everyone should value their time. I charge 2.5 times my hourly rate. That is how I go about my hourly rate as a developer, not counting bonuses and benefits. So just my pure hourly rate. And so that comes to $90 an hour roughly. It should be probably closer to 100, but I charge 90 right now. So if you want actual mentorship, you want to say, look, man, once a month, I want to reach out to somebody, talk to them for an hour and say, look, am I on the right path? What would you change? How can I improve? How can I get better? Can you review this project code? Can we shoot the shit about this? Can you code review something? I do mentoring, and I do that about twice a month right now. But it's going to be very rare for a stranger to show up and say, hey, mentor me for free, baby. I need all that knowledge. I need all 67 steps, Dylan. But yeah, it's not really how the world works, right? You're asking for free value. The only people who give you free value are friends and family. That's the truth. So how can you sign up for my mentorship? If you go to codingtutorials360.com, there is a tutor section. I'm actually that's one of my projects. I want to rebuild my website in Angular 2+ or just Angular, and just add some additional things, make it a little more fun. But you can pay, it's just PayPal, and then shoot me an email at dylansemail310@gmail.com, and we'll set up a time. So a lot of times people just want to have a learning path. They want to know, all right, there's so much information out here. This is what I'm doing. What would you do? And what should I learn? Just tell me what to learn. It's like, what's your goals? Get a job. Okay. How should I apply for jobs? What should I, sometimes people just want that one-on-one. That's part of what the live stream is about, Part of the live stream here is because not everyone can pay for the one-on-one. So if you're looking for a mentor, this is what the whole point of the AMA Ask Me Anything is. You haven't asked any questions. All you've asked is for a mentor. What do you want to be mentored about? Here's an opportunity for somebody. I'm not the best developer in the world, but I am a working developer. I am somebody who has, taken themselves from sleeping on a couch to, having money in the bank, having all his bills paid, no debt, full-time developer, and constantly learning and evolving. And if that's something that I can help you with, that's what this whole thing is about. This whole thing is about mentoring in a group session and providing value. So how come so mentorship is $90 per session? Yes, it's 1 hour long, $90. And some of you say, Dylan, I ain't got that. I understand, and I feel for you, but what do you want me to do about it? It's I value your time. You should value my time, right? All right, let's see here. Recently got accepted on an apprenticeship with an IoT company. The company uses MeanStack and TypeScript. I've been coding and doing a lot of research on MeanStack. Anything else I can do? Start building things, man. Get comfortable with Angular. Build a project in Angular. Build a front end, simple project in Angular. I have a course that introduces some things, but I have a second one coming out in about a week that's going to be introduced a lot more. Build some stuff. Don't forget the research. Just start building. Build a full stack mean application. That's the very first thing you should do. Research, you're going to read some articles, you're going to watch some videos. Cool, but start building some stuff so it sticks. I'm currently learning data structure and not feeling confident enough to solve any kind of problems on HackerRank. What do you suggest? I have a book that I just bought called Cracking the Coding Interview. I'm actually going to work through it because I have the same issue. So that's sort of what I'm trying to do here. Does Dolan do mentorship? Hey, I don't know if y'all could afford Dolan's mentorship. Do you use TypeScript when working Express? I haven't worked with Express in about 6 months, and I wasn't then. No. 1 second, guys. I have to use the restroom real quick. I will be right back. All right. Sorry about that, guys. I'm back. That coffee, though. All right. I don't have any friends, so I just figure I buy friendship. You buy my friendship for $90 an hour. I got no problem selling out. Would be best buzz. Be like, hey man, remember that last time I mentored you? Oh my God, I had so much fun talking to you about JavaScript. Oh my goodness, we should do it again every day. But yeah. Good morning. Bootstrap Studio, good or bad? I'm not familiar with Bootstrap Studio. Sorry. When you say build things, I can't even figure out how to get started. Even the question I asked Google what the next step is. So Forrest Ang or Forrest Tang. The first question is you have to decide what is that you want to build. Start there. Then draw it out. Literally draw out a box. Draw out a wireframe. And go from there. Let me see if I can launch Balsamic real quick. And I'll show you guys. So like you're saying, oh, well, I don't know what to build. Literally go and draw something like this. So like this is from these are the wireframes from my upcoming course. All this is doing is showcasing what it is. And you need to essentially visually have this in your head or draw it out by hand. It doesn't have to be super detailed. It could literally just be, all right, this is going to be the filter section. We're going to have some data here. And then what you do is you tackle this. You tackle this section. Then you tackle the one here. And then once you have that one working, go and build this one, then this one. You just slowly break it out piece by piece. But you have to visually understand what it is that you're trying to get going. So please, 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 please just start doing that. And you don't understand how to put things together. You put it together piece by piece. You build one piece, and then you connect it to the other piece. And you just have to get started. A lot of times people are stressing about what it is and how to get started. You just have to get started and chip away at it, and slowly things will fall into place. He's saying, okay, well, I mean, without you give me an example project, I'll tell you right now how to get started. Just go ahead and throw in chat. Say, okay, you say you know what you want to build. What is it that you want to build? And let's go from there. We'll use a real life example right now. All right, so let's see here. I made a HTML, CSS, JavaScript project, or make project learning Mongo, MongoDB, or Node. Honestly, make both. Both are good choices, right? People always want to use one or the other. Oh, is it this? Is this better than that? You know what the best choice is? Doing it all. Have I seen the optimization for Webpack 4 and code splitting? No, I did see that Webpack 4 is either got released or in beta or something like that. I think I saw an article header like that. So it's one of those things where I don't really care. I mean, so if I'm building a front end application, I'm using Angular. I'm using Angular CLI, right? Most of the time. And that uses Webpack. I don't really have any need to configure Webpack on my own. If it comes a time where like, hey, we need you to configure Webpack, I'll go and pick it up. But I've never had the need to actually go and configure Webpack and get it going. I just use whatever the CLI is. All right. Okay, so in the example of contact manager, so I'm thinking like an address book sort of thing where you have emails, phone numbers, and names. How I would get started, and I always define what is a contact. Start by defining that class, right? I'm assuming we're going to do this in TypeScript. Define what's in that class. What are the properties of that class? What are the methods of that class? And understand the data object. Once you have a data object, you can say, okay, how am I going to display this data on the screen? Okay, now that I understand the data object, how am I going to, before I even have a backend, it's all front end, before I even have a backend, I want to display that backend. Okay, so Forrest Ring has an example here. We'll go with his. I thought he was waiting. So he wants to build a cryptocurrency arbitrage board that takes prices from various exchanges from a given currency, so multiple APIs, and display the various prices in a matrix. That's super simple, dude. All right, so what you're going to first do is you have to define what those APIs are, because that's what this project is about. This project is about showcasing different values from different exchanges. So you need to go look up the 5 exchanges, and you have to see back what those data models look like and how you're going to get that. Now, once you have that, you're going to define 5 different classes for those 5 APIs for those data models, and you may have to manipulate the data a little bit. But now that you have that, you understand what those keys are, what those data points are that you're going to be getting back. You're then going to have 5 separate API calls that goes and gets that data. That data from those endpoints are going to get mapped into the classes that you just defined. So you make sure that everything is coming back as anticipated. And then you're going to have a table, presumably, where you have now defined what those values are. And you're probably going to have an array of objects, and each one of those 5 data points is going to be connected to an object. The object could be like Bitcoin, right? For instance. And then you're going to have Bitcoin, Coinbase, Bitcoin, Bitfinex, and all the 5. And you're going to do that for every single cryptocurrency that you're interested in. Let's say most of them cover the top 100. You're going to have something like that. And that is how you're going to go about building your API on the front end and connecting to it. Now, on the back end, I don't suggest you go and build a front end application that does 300 API calls. It's an awful idea. But you say you got PHP on the back end, maybe you do those calls, and then you send the data back in the formatted form that you would want. So once you have that, once you've set up your data model, all it is a matter of displaying your data model on the front end. So you'll probably have a table. You'll have a column that says, Coinbase prices. You have a column that says Bitfinex prices. You'll have various aspects that go with it. That is one way of how you could go about that project. Now, you may be thinking like, oh my God, how do I get started? If you just got started and connected to one API, and then you connect to 2, then you connect to 3, then you connect to 4 and 5, you just slowly increment it. All of this would make sense, right? But what's probably happening is you're getting so caught up on the end result that you can't even get started. You can't say, how do I connect to various applications and go from there? So I would suggest that you just start. Connect to one API, get the data. Connect to a second API, get the data. And you're like, well, how do I display them? Now you start manipulating the data on the front end or the back end. Usually when you're manipulating large sets of data, you want to do on the back end. You go from there. Let's see. Have you worked through the free CodeCamp beta curriculum? I did some of it. Yeah, I think it's pretty good. I think we'll get it by 2020. I have a good weekend, Christ Center Dev. Should I put all the programming languages that I know on my resume? You should put all the programming languages that you can have projects built in on your resume and that you have experience in. Or that you feel that you know, right? So say you're like, look, I know Java, I know JavaScript. Put it on there. If you actually know JavaScript and Java. If I could come to you and I could say, look, I need you to do FizzBuzz, something very simple, the FizzBuzz algorithm on a whiteboard right now, and you couldn't solve that in the correct syntax, do not put that on your resume. You could, good, go ahead. But it's really up to you. Yeah, but yeah, you should definitely put all the languages that you know. Why wouldn't you? Libraries and APIs, same thing though. Libraries are so APIs are application programming interfaces. They're sort of like web applications allowing you to do certain things. And libraries are usually downloadable functionality. I don't know TypeScript. How long would it take me to learn? A day. TypeScript's pretty straightforward. The Crusader Rabbits, how you doing? By the way, I know you're always talking about ageism. I have a video coming out just for you on Thursday. 2 videos this week. It's coming out Thursday. You gotta have to wait because you get it because like ageism, you're getting old. Wait, old no. Dad jokes. I'll have you know that I'm known for my dad jokes. All right. I keep it fire. All right. What is the advantage of using your name as a brand versus using a company or product name? Well, in my case, it's more relevant to me as an employee. If I was going to start a company or start a product, it would make sense to have a brand name. That would make sense. But really what YouTube has turned into is a portfolio item. And if I want to one day, progress, and not to say that you couldn't, but in terms of, depends on what your objective is. My objective is simply to continue to evolve as a developer and to promote myself as a developer. And if one day, as I get better, I wanted to give speeches, I want to give talks, it'd be better for me to be for my name rather than a channel name. So that's all. So it just kind of depends on what your objective is. What other videos do you have planned? On Monday, I have my top 10 tips to become a self-taught developer. So I think this will be a video that a lot of people are always asking. 4. I know everyone's always, how do I be a self-taught developer? How can I do this? How can I do that? Well, I compiled a list of my 10 tips, and I hope you find them helpful. It's a long video. It's about 25 minutes, but it is detailed, and I think it'll be helpful for those of you who apply it. That's what I got planned for this coming week. The following week, I have a my course announcement. My course announcement as well. So that'll be one video that I have. Are your tips relevant for 2018? Of course they are. Does your video discuss age discrimination in tech hiring? What else would I talk about? I'm talking about age. It's ageism in tech is the title of the video. Why would I make a video that's not relevant? Like, hey, let me tell you the top 10 tips to becoming a self-taught developer in 2005. Why would I make that video? What am I trying to do here, right? like I do want to get views. I do want to get, AdSense money, right? I do want to provide value. And if you want to learn stuff from 2005, go to college, all right? If you want to learn shit in 2018, come to YouTube, all right? Because that's how we do it here. So, so I mean that's what am I gonna tell you the 2005 tips, right? So, am I too old to learn to code? Is not the question. I quite literally just told you we're doing ageism in technology. That is the topic of it. you may not like my view standpoint on this, but it is what the topic is about. But yes. So Bootstrap or CSS Flexbox, either one. It's not gonna matter one way or the other. Hey, Coding Connections with the $2. What do they call it? No message though. Super chat, $2 super chat. Thank you, man. That is appreciated. Your money helps me pay for school. I'm learning shit from 2005 myself right now. Let me tell you, man, I'm like this close to dropping out. I hate what college has become. I appreciate it though, man. I really do. So thank you so much for that. My favorite language, JavaScript, but specifically TypeScript, if that counts, just because I really am loving TypeScript. I have ever since I started working with it. How is school going? It's going, man. Right now, there's a technical issue with one of my courses, so I can't see my practice test results, and I can't use the preparing resources, and that's driving me nuts. So I've had to move on to another course, but I finished. I'm moving fast, but it's just every moment I spend in school, I slowly die a little bit because like I want to build all these sort of projects. I have all the I want to rebuild my website, for instance, and I have some really cool ideas. And I wanted to sort of sync it up with changing the channel name, but I can't because I still have the time to do it all. So don't be throwing around that wife word. Where I come from, you start calling the girlfriends the wife. Those are fighting words, all right? April and the cats are doing swell. Channel keeps me learning every day. I'm glad, man. I try to keep everybody motivated. And then Diabetic Manatee with $2 saying, don't drop out. I'm not dropping out, man. I just say I want to drop out. I might even do a video about wanting to drop out of college and being able to force yourself not to. I think I might be doing pretty well on that. Because let me tell you, I've never enjoyed the college experience. I'm not enjoying it now, but I will complete it. But thank you. Yeah, don't worry, guys. I'm not dropping out. I'm just frustrated with it. That's all. I look like a fighter. Welcome to the gun show, baby. But yeah, so let's see. Ever since I relaunched my new website for my business, I added PHP contact form. My website business has been moving. Excellent. What do I think about ageism in the web dev community? I have a video on Thursday discussing that. I don't think it's as prevalent as people think. I do think it is a problem, though, just to summarize. But I also think that, and I have an article that I talk about in there that a lot of the newer jobs in tech are not even being sought after by older developers in senior dev community. And there's a couple of reasons for that, and we talk about that. But literally, there's jobs that are 5 times more likely to be clicked on by a millennial in tech than by a baby boomer or someone over the age of 45. And when you have that, that's not discrimination. That's just that they have skills that are related or relevant. And maybe someone who has been in technology for a while doesn't want to go, and they don't feel they should have to go and get that. There's a bunch of reasons. It's a complex issue. Is there ageism? Of course there is. You don't have, do I think it's as bad of an issue as I think a lot of people make it out to be? No, but I've also worked. Half the developers I work with are older. At like every company I've ever been at. At my last workplace, I was the youngest developer there, and that was when I was 28. At my previous workplace, I was one of the youngest people there, but I was like 25. I wasn't a developer. Everyone else was older, and half the developers were over 50. So it really just depends, man. it just depends on what it is that you're trying to do, what it is you're trying to learn. So it varies by my workplace. So in my personal life, I haven't experienced that. Any plans to make a React course for Udemy? I'd have to brush up on React. I would love to learn React just because it's so in, but I have so many other things that I'm focused on right now. I'm not too worried about React. I'm loving Angular. Honestly, I know a lot of people aren't fans at times because it is a large project like architecture, right? So there's just a lot to learn about the framework. But I'd have to be working with React for a while before I'd probably make a course on it. Who is my best friend? Probably Matt. Matt and I talk pretty frequently. Outsource the website work, hook a junior dev up. I want to build it. And so the thing about building like your own site is you can build it to your specification and continually to work on it. Also, I don't want to pay any of you guys. I don't have the money for that. Your boy's putting himself through college and not taking on any student loans to do it. So, hello, Vix. What do you recommend to learn after Node.js? I recommend building stuff when you've learned Node.js. Connect a database to it. You know, MongoDB is usually the easiest with Mongoose and Express. What if you have a low GPA? I'm not dropping out, but does a computer science degree have any value with the low GPA? Yeah, just don't put your GPA on your resume. That'd be my advice. Unless you have like a 3.5 or above, I wouldn't even put your GPA on your resume. Just drop it off. Drop it off completely. That's my advice. Hey, Dylan, I'm about to finish a non-CS degree from a great university. I don't have any internships, just some projects. How do I improve my chances of getting full stack web dev job? Well, the go-to answer is, first off, get your GitHub popping. Start pushing to it on a regular basis. Hopefully you already have a LinkedIn. Hopefully you already have a good resume. Keep building projects. Build a portfolio site. Start going to meetups. Start volunteering through coding organizations. Start working on your personal brand. Those are like the minimum 8 things that you can start today getting good at. That is sort of the go-to app stance. Also get some certifications. That would be my advice to stand out. So once you do that, you know, work on maybe I think I already said personal branding. Social media / is kind of personal branding. But that would be what I would do immediately. Yeah. And also, you know, you might have an easier time getting an internship than a full stack dev job right away. And so I think that would be something to consider. I don't have any problem with internships. Just make sure it's a paid internship. I talk like Elon Musk? I don't think so. I've heard Elon Musk talk. I don't think I talk like him. Elon Musk is a thug, though. I love Elon lives that thug life, and so I don't say it because I'm embarrassed to sound like Elon Musk. I just don't agree with it. I'd love nothing more than to emulate that man. That man is no fucks given with Elon. That's how the kids would say it. Rebuild the website in Wix now. Can you please talk about PHP being a good inroad to landing your first job as self-taught web developer? So this is a funny story. I'll share a story with you from work. One of my coworkers I work with, he's a front-end developer. He loves PHP. And I love to make fun of PHP from the channel. So and coincidentally, every other developer at work hates PHP also, which is about 20 people. So they hate PHP. So we all kind of give him a hard time for PHP. So we're at stand up and he was like, hey, I'm going to reach out to my old coworker. So because I think maybe I'm not communicating to the developers at work why PHP is so great. So I'm going to reach out to my old coworker about like, hey man, I wanted to talk to you about what's going on with PHP, how is it evolving? And so his old coworker sends him back a message that says, yeah man, I'm worried about the future of PHP, so I've left that and I'm not going back. And I thought that was really funny. But I don't know. I have a mixed feeling about PHP. I do not like the language, and people give me shit about that. Every language is unique, but it's all the same stuff. Shut up. I don't care. I hate PHP. I actually gonna have a shirt that comes out that says PHP sucks. That's it. There's not gonna be anything else. It's just gonna be in purple and let you know what's up. But no. So but there are a lot of jobs in PHP. I don't know, man. I don't think there's anything wrong with learning PHP, but if it's PHP or React, I'd say learn React. You'll have an easier time getting a React job than you will a PHP job, just because there's so much time in PHP, so much demand for React right now. You're going to have to learn React, Redux, and maybe have one or two other things that go along with React. But do you work in Waves? No, fucking never. What are some things that regular expressions are used in real web programming? You'd write a regular expression to evaluate email strings, phone numbers, making sure that no numbers are in first name, no numbers are in last name, to evaluate the formatting of an address, things like that. It's basically just to make sure that the inputs are correct. Example project ideas stand out for new devs. My suggestion to you is choose something you're passionate about. Let's say you're a UFC fight, like you like UFC. I watch UFC all the time, right? So that's like my one hobby outside of coding is I watch the UFC events. And so my suggestion to you is if that was something that you're passionate about, either write a UFC API or use a UFC API and build your own sort of like side-scrolling application that takes the characters and makes like character sheets with their stats and go from there and dedicate a website to that and build upon that. All of a sudden build authentication and go from there. Oh my goodness. Salsa Dude coming out with the big $20 donation says, gotta spread the wealth. Thanks for all the free code camp videos, man. These videos help spark my coding journey. It's been a ride. Thank you so much. And congratulations to you for continuing on, man. The hardest thing for you guys to do is not to start coding, but to continue coding. So I appreciate you for the support, man. It is appreciated. Damn, I don't even know what to say, man. $20 is a lot. So thank you so much. Let's see here. Thanks for all the advice, John. To get a full stack web job, what types best projects I had on my GitHub stand out? Anyone's just so guys, the best projects, forget full stack, forget front end, forget back end. The best projects are unique projects, ones that are unique to you that no one else has done, right? If you're going to do a calculator, you're going to do something else, all that shit has already, there's tutorials out to do that. You need to build something custom because that's what you're going to be doing in the workplace. So the calculators, the weather apps, no one gives a shit about that. People are sick of seeing the weather apps. People are sick of seeing the calculators, and they've been sick of it for like a decade. Now, if that's all you got, that's all you got right now. But your goal should not, and that you can do the best you can with it. But good projects will be unique ones. Thank you again, Salsa Dude, man. That is appreciated. PHP is not for me. That's not too bad. I might steal that. I like that. Good morning, Jamie McGibbon. What do you plan on doing after software engineering? I think that's a question that's off into the future. I just turned 30 in October, so I'm an old man now by tech standards, right? Or I'm mature. Your boy's mature. All right. So 10 years from now, who knows, man? I really only plan my life in 5-year sprints. So I can tell you kind of what the game plan is for the next 5 years. But in the next 5 years, I have absolutely no plans of leaving software engineering. But just sort of continue what I'm doing right now: YouTube, building courses, writing books, self-education, working a software job, become a senior developer, become a tech lead. Those are all sort of the things that are in the 5-year period, hopefully. Becoming a tech lead in 5 years from now might be a bit of extreme. I'm not really quite sure what the barrier of entry for a tech lead is. Like, so let me tell you, man, some of these, like my tech lead, he is very knowledgeable in all of it, and I'm nowhere near his level. So the idea of me getting there in 5 years is possible, but who knows? Maybe he's a dunce of tech leads. I don't think so, but I guess that is the direction my career is going. Buy some property, learn about investing a little bit more. So I'm making a chat application like Discord that allows people to chat and PM other users. Are you saying that's not unique, or do you mean real world projects? No, that's perfect. That's a fine application to make. Add features, add stuff, but there's not tutorials showing you how to build Discord, right? I have no problem with you building something like that. It's the really traditional stuff that's the issue. What are the message for people who still write code as a notepad? Why are you doing that to yourself, man? What is it that what happened to you that you just hate yourself so much? Any tips or ideas coming up with great project ideas? Guys, we're going in circles here. Unique projects. I also have a video called like 48 side project ideas. So if you want some ideas, there's a video devoted to ideas to start a side project. 30 is still very young, my guy. No, I know I'm not like an ancient old man, but the Crusader rabbits would make you think that your boy is on his way out of the tech industry due to ageism. That's what Crusader rabbits would say. Which PHP framework is best to learn, Laravel? Where do I work? Can't tell you that, but rumor has it there's a LinkedIn that might have it on it. The reason I just don't say where I work for the most part is most companies don't want you talking about them. Most companies, I have no problem talking about where I work and whatnot, but I also have cussed a couple times in this video and very open and things like that. And so in terms of I am an employee. I have to hold myself to some standards, and I would have no problem justifying this video, but I also just saved myself a little bit of a headache telling you where I work, and then maybe being perceived as speaking for the company. That's not my goal. I'm not in marketing. I am in development. So. What does the lead developer do on projects when surrounded by senior and junior devs? This probably varies, but the lead developer, the tech lead, will sometimes be making architecture decisions, be making choices on what technologies we're going to be using, will be moving forward on, essentially the tiebreaker, if you will. Say you both have, say you have a stance on how to progress the front end application, and a coworker, another junior or senior dev, disagrees. Sometimes you got to say, all right, tech lead, what's the right way of doing this? Sometimes it doesn't matter, but sometimes it does. Where's your ideal place to live? I would like to live in Portland, Oregon. That is my my ideal place to live. I've visited there several times. I really enjoyed it. I really liked it. My brother lives there. My girlfriend's sister lives there. There's one other city I would like to live as well, which is Seattle, Washington. I haven't been there, but from what I've read about it, the software, the tech community, it just would look like it'd be an excellent place. And I probably, when I move, if I move to Portland, we'll go visit, because I believe it's about a 3-hour drive. And so I'll see that. How are the parents? I don't want to talk about my parents. I don't know that they would appreciate me talking about them. Not to say I have any issues with my parents and whatnot, but not everyone's comfortable about putting their world out there, right? So, like, I respect the fact that I am okay putting myself in a public setting, right? But not everybody is. What were you like in high school? Depends what year of high school. I was just kind of a dorky kid that watched anime, play video games, went out and made mistakes with friends on the weekends. So that's that type of guy. Where am I from? I'm originally from Southern California. My hometown would be probably San Dimas, California, which is like in the Inland Empire. But I've lived in Los Angeles. I graduated from Redondo High School in Redondo Beach. I lived for the last 10 years or so before I came down here in the Redondo Beach area. Dylan seems like the guy that sit in the back of the cafeteria and play Pokemon Go and everyone is waiting on the bus. Do you think programming videos would work in a 5-minute video game dunking kind of format? Look up the Real Tough Candy, the Real Asian. I wonder if is that an anime reference for the Asian anime? Just out of curiosity. But look up the Real Tough Candy, because she does something very similar, and I think it might give you some inspiration, just show you a little something. Reading tech books currently? If so, which one? Yes, I am. Let me go grab it. I've been reading, and you'll see I have thrown some Amazon links in here. So I've actually been loving this book. You can see I'm about 40% through. I've been reading it pretty much every night. I read a chapter or two. It's been an amazing book. I would highly recommend it. And if you're interested, let me throw my affiliate link in. It's the Complete Software Developer's Career Guide. I'm not a big believer in reading, what's the things I'm trying to say, reading hard skill books. I much more believe in the soft skill books of software development. And I've absolutely been loving John's book. I'm a huge fan of it. It's well written. It's entertaining. It's something that I wish I read much sooner along in my career. So if you're interested in that, I'll throw the affiliate link in chat. You guys can help me and John out. So I have it is really good, guys. It's hard work. It's 700 pages long, which is, some people are like, oh man, that's so long. Look, if you're not, this is the easy part. Reading 700 pages is the easy part. Implementing it's the hard part. Live stream sponsored by Johnson. No, John didn't send me this book or anything. I bought it straight away, and I've been reading it. I love it. It's got some really great suggestions. The book covers anything from getting into the industry to being in the industry to excelling in the industry. It's like $20 for the book. You can't beat it. I really suggest checking it out. I'll do a full review when I'm done. Any plan for a Dolan marriage? Liquor of choice. So I'm not a hard liquor guy. I'm not really much of a drinker. I prefer beer much more. Up until I went out with some coworkers to the bar maybe 2-3 months ago. I hadn't had hard liquor, God, probably in 5-6 years. So I really don't like liquor. I don't listen to podcasts. It's something that I may want to get into. There is, I guess they're not really podcasts, but they're sort of podcasts. If you go to Code Tech, they do like videos of topics. Like, someone's giving a presentation at a meetup or something like that. They record them, put them up on their channel. I do watch those. Those are kind of like podcasts. Seattle, ton of people trying to find work in Seattle, even people from outside the city, even getting interviewed makes it really difficult. Well, yeah, it's a tech city, man. Do I watch Jordan Peterson videos? No, but I have seen a couple of interviews of Jordan Peterson on like Joe Rogan's podcast. Have I ever met John? No. I had him on the channel once. I email him from time to time just to talk to him or ask some questions. He's always been very kind and gracious to me. Are you a millionaire? No. I don't know how much money you think I have, but like 3 years ago, I was sleeping on a couch. So we are much better off than we were before, but I am nowhere near being a millionaire. Best financial advice you give new grads: save 50% of your income, pay off your student loans before you do that. Pay off your student loans before you do absolutely anything. Have zero debt except to build credit. So honestly, I can't stress this enough. Pay off all your debt. You'll feel like a weight is lifted off your shoulders. Pay it off, pay it off, pay it off, pay it off. Live at home if you can. Work, save, pay it off, pay it off, pay it off. Once you do, save 50% of your income. That's my advice. Is St. Petersburg the new tech spot? I see a lot of videos and devs in that area. Do you really? I would say no. I'm getting a degree in software development. But yeah, so my financial advice for you is, first, eliminate debt. Second, keep your costs low. That means not taking on any debt. A lot of people will buy, like they'll go and buy a $50,000 car when they get their first $60,000 salary, and they won't have any money in the bank, and they'll be paying a $6,000 or $600 a month car bill. Don't do that. Don't fall for that. My car, brand new, was $13,000. $13,000. I on my taxes this year, I cleared over 80. If I'm driving a $13,000 car when I make $80,000 a year, you should not be buying a $40,000 car when you're making $55,000 or $60,000 as your first dev job. And honestly, until you have a house, until you have property, you shouldn't be buying a nice car. Cars are depreciating assets. They are the largest, unless you're talking like dealing with boats, they are one of the worst investments because they're not an investment. They're actually the exact, whatever an exact opposite of a investment means, they're an expense. They're an expensive expense. So my advice to you is save, pay off your debt, keep your monthly costs as low as possible, and then buy property and go from there. So I have a 2015 Mitsubishi Mirage. That's my car. Brand new, not counting tax. I think with tax it's like 14.1. It was $13,100. $100,000-mile warranty. Gets 44 highway, 40 city. I love it. It's a tiny car. It's a subcompact, but I love it. But that's my financial advice. Not a financial advisor. Just saying these things. Do we have to say that? Every one of these financial channels, not a financial advisor. This is for entertainment purposes. What do you think about front-end development field? Do you think it's mixed up JavaScript developer and front-end developer? JavaScript developer and front-end developer are very similar. I don't worry about it. I love doing front-end. That's my thing. What smartphone do I use? I use a busted ass. You guys want to see how busted my phone is? Look at that. Can you guys see? So can you guys see the cracks in that phone? Look at that corner there. And then look at that special purple line down it. Oh my goodness. But I have a like Samsung S7 Edge, something like that. Try and learn front-end frameworks. Should I learn React, Vue, Angular? Really, it's only between React and Angular. I know JavaScript, but due to work, can I give too much time to pick what I need to do better at one? Which one would you pick? I would pick React right now just because there's a lot of jobs in it. I definitely wouldn't mess around with Vue because there's not enough jobs. React or Angular is really your only two choices. Do I watch WWE? No. Get a case? It's too late for that. That phone's done. So, I will be buying a new car. When April gets a job, I'm going to be getting a Honda Civic hatchback. It's about $22,000. So I'm holding off on getting a new phone till she gets a job as well. Just keeping the expenses low. So the one thing that I hate is people who don't practice what they preach, right? I mean, it's okay if you give advice that people ask for, but you don't have that lifestyle. You don't have, so you can't practice what you preach. I understand that, but so like any books you're reading, would you recommend any books? You know what book I would recommend? The book I'm actually fucking reading, right? So like, the thing is I hate when people don't. They just want to tell you some shit to sound smart, or they want to tell you answers stuff they don't have the answers for. I really recommend, if you can live that lifestyle, only practicing what you preach, which is what I try and do on my channel. Anyhow. Your job demands you sit a lot. What do you do to keep fit? I haven't been doing shit to keep fit, dude. That is one of my things I need to do better. So anyhow, guys, I think it's about time to wrap this up. I usually like to leave these live streams with some words of wisdom, or what I consider words of wisdom. And so one of the things I want to just sort of bring back to the conversation real quick before I go by is earlier Forrest Eng basically was worried about how to get started on a project and what do I do? And essentially getting overwhelmed by the end goal, when oftentimes all you have to do is get started and just piece by piece by piece. Are you going to do it perfectly? No, we don't ever do anything perfectly, but piece by piece, start putting it together. So when you're feeling overwhelmed by life, by school, by everything, just relax for a second and try to figure out how you could just get 1% of the project done or 5% and just start knocking it out piece by piece. And you have to look at that in the same way that you do anything in life is, if I want to go and get a six-pack, am I going to be overwhelmed because I'm not going to have it tomorrow, or I'm not going to do it the perfect way? Or am I going to start today and steadily get better and learn more as I go by? So have that mentality. And with that being said, Dolan be seeing y'all soon. Bye, guys.